Thank you. How many of you say aye if you were at the lab between 1985 and 1990?
Aye.
All right. I started the lab in year -1, before the building was even opened. And I moved into the building over there with Seymour Papard's group. Alan Kay then showed up with a great twist on Seymour's ideas for learning environments. Make an ecology of animals and create programming languages for children to make animals' brains. It was called the Vivarium Project. And that's how I ended up with my first Media Lab physically embodied project, the Intelligent Blimp. Between helping my terrific bureaucrat T.C. Lau keep this blimp's radio controller qualifying from his electrical engineering lab credit, and helping attach Mike Travers' brain to it. Mike Travers' brain program for kids.
Same difference.
Trying it out with Allison Druin and Steve Strassman with kids at the Tower School. We had this fish-like blimp living in the atrium of E15. And when the blimp's batteries ran down, which they often did, we couldn't use those forward propellers to drive it back to us in the balcony or even down to the floor. So we had to supply water pistols to shoot it with. And that would dynamically ballast it with water. So some of the really glamorous Media Lab parties in the lobby, which was a tradition that we're doing now that Nicholas instantiated then, got this mysterious rain on them. And we'd be up on the balcony hiding these water pistols behind our backs. So after a while, Nicholas asked me what I was really going to do for my thesis. I'd been thinking about automated summarization of stories, and I'd also been thinking about pushing forward a project that occurred earlier, making an interface for the sense of touch, so you could feel textures of non-existent surfaces and objects created totally by computation. Nicholas didn't skip a beat. That's what you have to do. The touch interface. No one else is doing it. That's daring enough for the Media Lab. So Max Behensky and Doug Milliken, among others, worked on the haptic touch joystick with me. And as a lot of you know Doug, and he makes his living consulting for car companies. And he consulted on many projects with us here. Everything he builds is totally roadworthy. And when Max was looking at the electronics for this touch interface joystick, he had the insight that we could use a 2-channel consumer amplifier for the electronics. So we went out to the hi-fi store, we bought this amplifier, cracked open the case, put all the electronic conditioning in it, instead of a breadboard and a rat's nest of wires for this project, we had this nice, seamless black Yamaha amplifier and a cable coming out of it to the joystick. And this roadworthy Doug Milliken, building really came in handy because we were invited for this project by the Apple University Project Summit in Cupertino. And by that time, Megan Smith was working on this project and others. And being Media Labbers, of course, we had to take the demo with us. No video. So we had all this stuff and all these people, and we had to get a station wagon taxi, and we were driving really quickly to Logan Airport. 2/3 of the way, the back hatch of the taxi pops open, and out comes this Yamaha amplifier, bouncing on its corner on the road at 35 to 50 miles an hour, pulls the cable, joystick falls down, we're like, stop the taxi, run around the back of it, shove the stuff in. We were totally freaking out. We were holding our breaths the whole flight to Apple, but the joystick was indeed roadworthy, and it worked great. My experience of the beginning days of the lab was that it was very crisp. There was astonishing clarity. Jerome Wiesner was very clear. He wanted a new role for arts at MIT. And he'd been president of MIT, and he just wanted to do this thing much bigger and completely differently than anyone else had ever done. So I think that he saw that he needed to sweep in someone truly unusual to do that. And Nicholas was very clear. He wanted computers and creatures creating environments together. Environments that understand what people say, do, and want. My father is very clear. He wants to create intelligent beings. Seymour was very clear. He wanted to make kids smart. Muriel was very clear. She wanted computation and design combined. And these guys, Wiesner and my dad Brad and Nicholas have a very generous and very loyal way of getting the people that they admire, people they think will be good, and then bringing them in. And these people, Ricky, Gloriana, Steve Benton, Barry, and from the ArcMag, Walter, Chris, and Andy, and Todd came in.
Oh my God.
They came in with Chris visions. So there were also all these great students. And they just swarmed. The atmosphere was a swarm. We would swarm onto a project like holography or the blimp, and then a backseat driver, and we'd swarm somewhere else. It was like a great boarding school. We didn't know where each other came from. Could be Japan, could be one of the groups, and we worked on the projects. As well as the official life of research projects, we had our unofficial projects. For example, I ran this quite well-attended midnight movie series. You have to remember we had to run these on 16mm film. And I'm going to wind up with another unofficial project. Down with this down, please. For another student, Bob Stavston. Some of you have seen this. It drew in help from students all over the lab. Way back in 1988, it became the first animation in the world that drove animation directly from music. As you can see, that morphed into an official research project. Thank you.